Shadum!
Well, everyone else is getting a Demon Lord deck, so why not I? Hello, everybody. I'm Manny, the Demon Lord of Envy here, and we are back with Leviamon. Let's get started, shall we? Back from the depths! Alright, so starting off this deck profile, we have our egg, the Tsunomon. So, to get to a lot of our pieces, we have to send a lot of our cards to grave. So we do have a lot of cards that let us discard and draw, trash and draw. Sorry, I'm mixing up the terminology and saying of two games. So give me a second, because I just went from a Yu-Gi-Oh profile to this one, where I had to say send and discard a lot. Thank you, Ogdodix. The first level 3, Fascomon. Because during each of our end phases, we are discarding a card. And he is good just to kind of chump throw or chump block at your opponent to throw out their security or at their monster. Because draw one, trash one for what he does. And then when you're, then his thing again at the end of your opponent's turn, drawing and trashing each turn, you're proccing your Tsunomon to go off. Speaking of trashing and drawing, the Sayalkomon, you are giving your... I'm going to apologize for Scott real quick for the amount of Fujitsumon tokens I gave him that one time we dueled. And he would forget how many cards I would draw because I would point out, oh yeah, no, you see those two cords? Those are Fujitsumons. They count. They don't have levels, so they avoid being popped by the giant scary alligator. So the only thing that dies is your Omnimon. I am sorry, sir. Good day. Then Sayako X, because this basically just kind of replaces the Gabu from the starter deck. It's basically the same thing, but when you're digivolving on top of the Sayako, you're either forcing your opponent to trash a card from hand or they're giving you a memory. Most of the time, the combo or the thing that this deck wants to do is forcing your opponent to trash their Digimon, so that way they're being brought back by your level 5s, so that way they're proccing your Biting Crush, they're proccing your all your inheritables that gain memory from something being summoned out by effect, they're proccing your Leviamon. This deck is just meant to force your opponent to summon their stuff and just to have it get destroyed by a giant red alligator. Interior crocodile alligator. Movie theater. The main culprit of someone getting Digimon on their deck that they do on their field that they do not want, because Fujitsumon is a thing, and the fact that this guy works as an on-player on Digivolve, just like I just said right now, sets off all your opponent's things, because you on-play him, you give your opponent a Fujitsumon, you proc your Biting Crush, it brings out the Leviamon, and since the Fujitsumon technically doesn't have a level, it avoids being popped by the Leviamon, which means only your opponent's stuff gets targeted. Gessamon, because blocker, and then what did he specifically do again? Ah, yes, he's basically the Sayako X, where you're either forcing your opponent to trash Digimon or they're giving you a memory. So this guy is either a 1 Evo or he's getting your future plays started up. I gotta apologize to Scott again.
The bane of Alteress's existence.
Because the fact that this thing can source strip any 3 cards just meant I kept stripping his Crest and Blitz, Garuru, and Greymon from the stack. So the Alteress was never able to proc their return. Oh my god. 3 Dragomon. As you can see, you know, from the source stripping and the forcing your opponent to discard, it is all meant for either this guy or the Waru here to send your opponent's lower level stuff to grave, So that way, on Digivolution, he can summon it back to gain memory from their inheritables, or he can attack into it and do the Levia X combo, which does get a little complicated. So you can bear with me for a minute. I will explain it to you on how that works if you're learning to play this deck, or we're learning to play against this deck, because this deck brings some rulings that a lot of people might not expect. That is insane. So on summon, he'll summon out something suspended, and any on plays do not activate. Same thing for him. When he attacks, he can redirect to anything that's summoned from your opponent's graveyard, suspended, and on plays do not activate. And if you do summon from this effect, all Digimon on your opponent's field do gain the effect of lose one memory when a Digimon is deleted. Everyone's favorite crocodile.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, Mr. Bonjour. Insert polar bear Bonjour meme here, but with Leviamon instead. That has been the meme that I've been going around with everybody ever since I found out that this deck was basically coming out in, what, BT15 and EX5?
EX5 and 15, yeah.
Yes, because you basically got half the deck in one and the other half into the other. And then I had to wait for 16 to get the Sayako and the Gesso X. So when he's brought out either by Digivolution or on effect, if your opponent has more Digimon and or Tamers on the field than you do, you're popping 2 Digimon on your opponent's field in the order of highest and lowest. So you got to be careful when you're doing that, because you got to do it in order. And here is why I say that there is a little combo with Waru here. Because if Waru has the X Anybody option spell, either the regular or the protoform, up to your preference, depending on the deck you run, whichever one you like more, he will swing into the monster, activate the X form, or this more works for X form, but I've seen people run this with protoform too. So this is mostly for the original X Antibody option. You swing, you proc the X Antibody option to Digivolve into an X Antibody form. So you will then Digivolve into him, check the field if your opponent has more Tamers and Digimon than you do. Then from there, you're popping a Tamer, a level 3, a level 5, and a level 7 Digimon. And then since you did summon something with the Waru, they still have the effect of you lose one memory when you delete a Digimon. So you are deleting your opponent's back resources from their Tamers on top of giving yourself 3 free memory from if your opponent has corresponding decks that have a level 7. Not a lot of decks have level 7s. So most of the time you will only really be popping a level 3 and a 5 of them. So at minimum, you are getting rid of a Tamer. If you're dealing with a deck that just drops many Tamers like Hunters, like Shine, and all of them, you're popping a full body. Sorry, just got again. Because you know how Alter S works. A lot of the times you're shitting on a Gabu here, an Agu here, a Greymon here, your Alter S line here, and something in between all over. So I have dropped him, popped the Met and Tai, popped the Alter S, popped the Metal or Garurumon or Metal Greymon and a level 3, and that was just free memory for me.
It literally is Alter S's absolute worst matchup if you play it. Watch out for this deck.
And then, like I said with Alter S right now, the Alter S would then summon back out the Blitz Greymon and the Crest Garurumon, which would then proc the Biting Crush, bringing him out and then popping them. So it was a little unfair, to say the least. Oh, and X Antibody, but before that, just for the fact that this guy can Digivolve for free from grave if something is summoned onto your opponent, and that can happen at any time. I have seen chains where it's like, okay, your opponent's chain goes off first, your chains go after that, because you know they brought out something, or you force them to bring out something, you gain your memory. Then he just comes out on either on top of him or him for free. You just watch out for him if he is in grave. Then the X Anybody option, because that's your combo with Waru to go into your Leviamon X and just start going ham and blowing everything up. The 4 Wisdom training, because since the only non-color is the X Anybody, most of the time you're going to be hitting something, but it, you know, like any deck does, it still does hurt when you bottom deck something that's pointed as X Anybody. Anyone playing an X Anybody deck can tell you that they hate bottom decking this. Take it from me, take it from Scott, take it from, like I said, anybody with an X Anybody deck, that's the worst thing, bottom decking your X Anybody. 3 Biting Crush, because I like to say bonjour. And do not be afraid to drop this. It is preferred that you drop this on aces, just for the fact that they will basically reduce the cost of this because of the overflow. But you just dropping a free level 6 on your opponent because you just hard play a Octomon and give them a Fujitsumon, or you summon Drago and you force them to bring out something. This card can net you pluses or bring you back from a game that you never knew you were losing. And then the 2 7th Lightnings, because we have the X Anybody, and this pops the level 4 and the level 6 that Mr. X Anybody here does not hit because he likes to pop the 3, 5s, and 7s. And this does save you from decking yourself out, because if you do proc the graveyard effect, it does bottom deck itself. And that's Leviamon, you guys. I hope you liked seeing the Demon Lord of Envy, and we'll hope to see you next time. Peace.